Okay, so to start for figure drawing, one thing that I recommend is that people draw over handouts, black and white copies. So what I have here is a couple of Renaissance copies, copies of Renaissance figure drawing. And this is just to get started, especially if you've never done it before. So this is a practice exercise. You can print them out on your computer, or you can get a magazine and make copies. They don't have to be Renaissance, but figures in different positions. This is going to help you get started. So when we start figure drawing, we break it down to really simple things, and then we get complicated over the simple things. So the first piece of vocabulary that you want to know in figure drawing is the line of action. Okay, that's how you're going to start your figure drawings. The line of action, I'm just going to focus this. Well, the line of action is, imagine if there's a spine in a person and it goes all the way to their head and all the way down to between their feet. So it's an imaginary line that goes through the figure, and it's telling us the direction that the figure is standing in. So I'm just going to go right through the middle of this figure. And here is the spine. And I'm trying to see how it goes here. It's going to go through the legs. And I'm going to go in between the 2 feet. Okay? That's how you're going to start. And this is a great practice exercise, especially if you haven't done figure drawing before. Then I'm going to make a line from shoulder to shoulder. So I'm going from shoulder to shoulder. And then I'm going to go from hip to hip. So we're really wanting to see if these lines are straight or diagonal. Okay? Then I'm going to make a shape for the torso. I usually use a trapezoid, but there's many different things you can use. You can use a circle as well. A shape for the pelvis. An oval for the head. Okay? And that kind of weird, simple stick figure shape is getting us a direction and a gesture of the figure. So I'm going to make a circle here, a circle at the elbow, and I'm going to make a line showing me the direction of the upper part of the arm. Then I'm going to make a circle for the hand, and I'm going to make a line connecting to the circle. Then I'm going to make a shape for this part of the arm. So basically, when you get started in figure drawing, you're wanting to break up the figures into simple shapes. If you can see it that way, then you can draw the figure over these shapes. So right now I'm doing it backwards. I'm doing it in an opposite way than you would do if you were drawing. There's like a finished drawing and I'm breaking it up into shapes, but that's how you would do it if you were looking at a model. So I'm going to make a shape for the neck. Then I'm going to do this to this elbow, and I'm going to make a shape for this part of the arm. I can't really see the other part of the arm because the copy is so light. I'm going to do the same thing with the legs. So I'm going to the knee, and I'm making a shape here. And then I'm going to the foot, and I'm making a shape. and then I'm going and making a shape around it. So I want to get this line for the direction of the thigh and the calf. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. And the oval for the foot is showing us how it's standing, how the weight is, and what direction the foot is going. Okay. And then I'm going to kind of make a shape right here. And there's more of her clothes out here, so I'm going to kind of do that. So you can see her figure through her clothes. She's clothed. But what I made here, let me make a shape right here, is basically a stick figure. But this stick figure is showing the direction or the gesture of the figure, how it's standing, how parts of the bodies are kind of pivoting in different directions. And if you have this first before you try to draw a figure, then all you need is your detailed drawing skills over that, and you're going to have a great figure drawing. Okay, I'm going to try one of the babies. So there's two babies here. So I'm looking at this guy's head and where I think his spine would be. So this is the line of action. And again, you're imagining that this line goes through the entire figure from the head to in between the feet. Then I'm going to make a line from shoulder to shoulder. I'm just seeing if it's straight or diagonal. A line from hip to hip. So see those two diagonals? Like this seems very juvenile, but these two diagonals are going to tell you a lot about how the figure is standing, where the weight is. So since this is down and this is up, this part of the body is compressed and this part of the body is elongated. You don't have to know like every detail about that when you're starting, but just something to keep in mind. So I'm going to make a shape for the torso. A shape for the head. This is a drawing by Botticelli, if you want to try this one. And a shape for the pelvis. And then what's hard about this figure, so this is kind of an easy figure to draw because it's just straightforward. But here we have a lot of overlapping. This arm is overlapping the torso, and this leg is overlapping the back leg. So that's going to make it a little bit more challenging. So I'm going to go here to here and find the direction of the top of the arm. And I'm going to find the direction of the bottom of the arm. I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay. So take your time doing this. I mean, if you really want to get good, I would start out with about 20 of them, which will be a little bit time consuming, but it will help your drawing skills. So here we go. And then this leg is behind. So there we go. Okay, and you see a lot about this figure as well. Now, if you wanted, you could erase like the overlapping lines. When you do this, when you're starting an actual figure drawing, you would do it really light, and then the drawing would be dark over this. You would erase it so you wouldn't see it. But I'm doing it opposite, just kind of to show you the process. Okay, so this is Michelangelo. So I'm going to turn this around. This is one of his paintings for the Sistine Chapel. So this is the sketch, and this is the actual painting. I'm going to do this one. I'm just moving my chair over a little bit. Sorry. So I'm going to go from the top of the head through the body. And I'm imagining that it kind of shifts here. So this is, again, the line of action. And I'm going to go right down in between these two legs. This is a hard pose because the figure is twisting. So actually the spine is more over here. If I wanted to kind of do it really correctly, I would put it over here. So this person is twisting. So like here we're seeing the back, and then here we're seeing the side view. So that's going to make a drawing more complicated. A line from shoulder to shoulder. That's a diagonal line. A line from hip to hip, I'm imagining. Okay, I'm going to make a shape for the torso. I'm going to make a shape for the hips. A shape for the thigh, and a line for the calf, an oval for the foot in the direction the foot is going, a shape for the calf, and then I'm going to go from the knee to the foot, an oval for this foot, okay? So the ovals for the foot are, again, telling us the direction the feet are going in. I'm going to make an oval for the head, a circle here, a circle here, a line and a shape. The line is just to help me get the exact diagonal of the direction. A shape here, a circle here, to a circle here, to a circle here. Okay, and there's my, again, the middle line is the line of action, and I'm breaking up the parts of the body into big shapes that I can draw over that are telling me the directions that those parts of the body are going into. I'm going to do a few of these for this. This is, again, Michelangelo. And this one is kind of hard. The vocabulary I wanted to introduce here before I do this is foreshortening. So if you go from kind of like the thigh to the knee and measure that, and then come out here, it's about that long, right? This is the same length. I'm kind of measuring, so it may not be exact. So this, from the knee to the foot, maybe if I made that come in, would be the same length, right? If it was straight, but it's going back in space. So it's in perspective. So it's called foreshortening. I'm going to do a whole video on that, but just to get you familiar with that term. So parts of the body are foreshortened if they're not just like, you're not looking at them straight. For example, if you are drawing someone sitting in a chair and their legs were coming out straight towards you, the calf would be regular length, but the thigh would seem a lot shorter than it is because it's at a different angle and it's in perspective. There's a couple different ways you can do foreshortening, so I'm going to handle that in another video. So right now, back to the lines of action. I just wanted you to notice that. So this is about half this. It depending on the angle, it could be over here or over here, right? If it was more out, it would be over here. If it was more back, it could be over here. So foreshortening is a bit of a challenge in drawing. I just wanted to introduce that because this is a good example. Now back to the line of action. So here's the head. And if I'm going through his spine, I'm going right here and in between his legs, right? But this is a really odd pose. So a pose like this would be very challenging to draw. So now I'm going from shoulder to shoulder and from hip to hip. They're both diagonals. So I'm going to draw a shape for the torso and a shape for the hips. Then a circle for the head. So now look at how strange this looks. All these parts of the body are compressed and on top of each other. So I already could tell this would be a really hard drawing. So I'm going to go to the arms, go here, get this direction and this direction. Make a shape for this and make a shape for this and a shape for the hand. The top of the hand, like this part of the hand, here is foreshortened as well. Then I'm going to do this hand and a shape for this. Now I'm going to go to the leg. So here's this part of the thigh. And this is going back in space. Sorry about that. With this shape going right here and a shape for this. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, so there's my shape. I can add here and here. And that would be a very challenging drawing. So now I'm going to go to this one, which is another Michelangelo. And I'm going to try to find the line of action. So I'm going straight through here. And in between the legs. I'm going to go from shoulder to shoulder and from hip to hip. I'm going to make a shape for the torso. An oval for the head. I'm going to change this line for the hips to a little bit more diagonal. And of course, I'm kind of guessing because the person is under fabric, right? But I'm guessing from what I see. Okay, then I'm going to go from here to the knee and the knee to the foot. And then I'm going to make a shape right here and a shape right here. Then this knee, this is sitting on top of this knee, so I'm guessing about right here to the foot and a shape. Okay, then I'm going to move on to the arms. So here to here, here to here, and here to here. So a shape for this and a shape for this. Now from here to here and here to here. a shape for this, and a shape for this, and a shape for the top. Okay? So there's kind of, I'm breaking it up into shapes before I draw it. So if you have a good, let's call this a stick figure, then you're going to have a good drawing. Here's another one that's mostly under drapery, but I'm going to go from here through here and kind of down. And shoulder to shoulder, I'm imagining a diagonal, hip to hip. I'm imagining another diagonal. Again, these two diagonals tell us quite a bit about how the figure is going to hang on the spine. So a shape for the torso, a shape for the hips, this leg is behind. I'm guessing it's about right here for the line, but it's behind, it's overlapping. And here's the foot. I'm going to look at the arms. Okay, there's a shape for the arm and the head, which is behind, again, it's behind drapery. So I'm imagining the shoulder to be about here, the elbow to be about here. And this, he'd probably be a little bit fatter than those shapes, but that's my line of action stick figure. And you can also do it with smaller parts of the body. So if you're really having trouble with hands, you can do it as well with hands. So you can go right through the middle of the hand, right? And I'm going to make a shape for this. Here, it's kind of a line showing me what direction that is going in, an oval. Then when you get into the fingers, so the fingers are here, the fingers are not always bent, but if they're bent, they're going in different directions. So here they are bent. So a circle for the knuckle, a line through the middle, another circle where there's joints showing me the different directions. So there's one shape, then it's kind of going in a different direction. There's another shape, and there's another shape. And same here. Okay, then here's another one sticking out. So shape here. But if you're getting these shapes in the right directions, then you're going to be able to get your hand correct, if that makes sense. I can't really see this little piece right here. I think it's like there. Then here again. And then a shape right here. A shape for this. And a shape for this area. And that's your start of your hand. That's kind of how you're sketching it out before you try to draw it. Then I'm going to do one right through here. a line here, and again, knuckle, line. It looks like there's two parts right here. So this is something for you to practice just before you start trying figure drawing to get really good. Okay, so again, that one was to show you could do it with smaller things than the whole figure. And sorry.